Welcome to a special episode of Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching podcast that's entitled The Sexy Side of Menopause. I'm Beverly Whitlow. I'm your host, and I am a certified health coach where I help women just like you to break through the stigma of menopause and lean into an amazing next level life. So, this is a special episode which will mark 2 complete years as your host on the Sexy Side of Menopause. And I have had so many amazing conversations here. And for those of you who are on this menopause journey and you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for women who are navigating this amazing time of their life with all of the challenges, with all of the shifts and changes. I hope that you found this has been a place that you can hear conversations that resonate with you, possibly ideas of things that you can lean into, or things that spark an opportunity to make your best life possible during this phase of life. So, in these 2 years that I have done the podcast, my intention was to be vulnerable, be open about what my menopause journey was, and also bring in other women who can talk about their menopause journey, but not in a negative, not in a depressive state, but being real, being honest, because what I was finding as a coach who was working with women is that each woman was navigating a totally different journey. And there was a narrative that was out there about menopause, and I didn't find that it resonated with me. Truly, there's changes, there's hormones that are shifting. This is your testosterone, this is your progesterone, and this is your estrogen. And truly, those change. But with each woman, that process is so different, and some women sail through this time of their life with no symptoms at all. And then there's the extreme. There's women who have had a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulty, and what I found is there's a lot of other things that they're navigating and juggling along with this hormonal change. So sometimes that message is louder than the other one. So I'm here to bring a balance. My journey was not that extreme. However, I did have challenges that took place, but I also have spent a lot of time on personal development. I have been leaning into being the best version of myself ever since I was in college. I was fortunate to go to college and be in a space where there was a lot of personal development. You were encouraged to lean into spaces that would help you develop your mindset, develop your body, to be specialized in whatever area of study. And the world has changed so much over the years, but that has been a constant in my life. And I've used that to navigate this time of my life. And I had decided that you can look at the menopause journey as the glass half full or the glass half empty. And I'm always looking at it half full. There are so many things that are going to change in your life, and menopause is being one of those, but you don't have to let this pull you down that you can't see the goodness, the amazing opportunities that are available in your life. You can go through history and look at some of the women who have made profound changes in their lives, in their families' lives, in society, in business, over the age of 40, 50, 60. There is a woman that I look to who inspires me often. When I think about aging, when I think about the runway ahead, her name is Ernestine Shepherd, and she's like 86, close to 87 now, and she is a Guinness World Record holder for being the oldest bodybuilder. And this woman, I'm in the DC metro area, so she's a few miles up the road from me in Baltimore. And if you pull her up and look at her, your jaw would drop. This woman has rock hard abs. She has a beautiful physique. She's nice and lean. She eats right. She teaches exercise classes, and she is beautiful. She wears her makeup. She has her nails done, and she shows up. And that is the woman that inspires me when I think about my life. I'm a baby boomer, so I'm in the 60 range, but I find that there's still so much more ahead that I need to do. So I'm not about wasting this next section of my life by being depressed or placing blame. It's just like, okay, figure out what the problem is and let's address it. And while we're doing that, live our best life. One of the things that I've done as I've navigated this 2 years of being on the podcast is to have women on to talk about things that they're inspired by, things that they're doing that is so gratifying to them at this stage. And one of the things that really resonate to me is an expat life. I have spent, I was thinking about this, 40 years of my life traveling. So I was partnered up with somebody at one point in time where we traveled the world for many, many, many years and building a life, having a family, adapting to different cultures. That was something that was really exciting to me. And when I think about it, it's like part of that prepared me for this menopause journey because it was constant change. You were here for a while and then you're on to another location. I had to adapt, the kids have to adapt, your partner have to adapt. So it's like that's truly the way life is. Nothing stays the same. There's this constant change that's happening in your life. And you have to be able to navigate that. I took a 50th birthday to Costa Rica, and this was a 2 week, I think it was, getaway for surfing. I'm a beach girl. I grew up on the water, so I'm always drawn to activities on the water. Surfing is something that I hadn't done. I lived in California for a long time, and I was on the water, and people were doing paddle boarding, and they were surfing and snorkeling. Not the snorkeling, it was like diving. So that was like, I'm not tying a tank on my back for 100 pounds of air and diving down in the ocean where sharks are. That's just not my thing. But I did enjoy doing other things on the water and watching them surf. It was so fascinating to me. So when I had the opportunity, I took this getaway to do surfing at 50 years old. And I want to say it was so exhilarating and it was so fun, but it was also hard. I mean, surfing is hard. There's this big board that is heavy, slippery, and you anchor yourself to some tether, and then you're hoping to catch this wave after you swim out a distance. And sometimes you catch the wave, sometimes the wave catch you. But it was one of those things after spending that period of time there, I did eventually learn how to surf. And I found that surfing is a fun activity, but it's not as easy as you see those guys catching 10, I think hanging 10, I think they referred to it. But it was something that was on my bucket list. I enjoyed, and it was so fun. And if I have another opportunity, I would do it for a fun getaway, but it's not something that's consistent for me. It's exhausting. It uses all of your muscles, your stamina. You have to have the ability to swim out, jump up on this board, keep your balance, ride this wave, and make it to the shore. It's a lot, but it's fun. And you just look at your life and figure out what are those things in your life that you can do that can be fun, that can be exciting, that can bring new breath into the way you're living. Another thing that was excited about expat living was I found a lot of the women, late 50s, early 60s, they were deciding, you know what, I'm out of this rat race. I've worked too hard. I don't know what retirement will look like for me here in the United States, so I want to move abroad. So I interviewed, I don't know, several ladies in different areas of the world. And because I've traveled a lot, it was always interesting to find out what their experience was in these locations. And the number one expat location that truly resonated with me was Paris. So I've been to Paris like 5 times. That is truly my happy place. And I don't think it's just one of those random things. I feel like I have an energetic connection, definitely a DNA connection. I have part of my family that's got Creole, French roots. So I have always been in an environment where people spoke French. It was a little different French, but there was all of the food, the culture. And then once I had my first opportunity to visit Paris, like after graduating, it like my heart sang when I was there. It's just like seeing the Eiffel Tower, it lit up, the cobblestone streets, the great food, the wine. I am a wine girl. I lived in California for so long. We always went to the vineyards. And it's like Paris had all of those things together that I love. And then there's fashion. You can just tell it makes my heart sing. So after the fifth trip, I had a couple of ladies that were actually they've come to be really good friends of mine, and they talked about what the experience is like if you wanted to live in Paris. So that's on my bucket list. I want to go and live part of my life in Paris. It is just one of those places that it allows you to slow down. As women on this menopause journey, one of the things that's really not serving us is we're burning out our adrenal glands. And this is because we're going, going, going. And there's like no off switch for us. Here in the United States, we are just workaholics, and the system is kind of designed like that. You can't really get off this treadmill or gerbil wheel because you have to pay the mortgage. You have to take care of your kids' education. You have to take care of aging parents. Like there's so much that your money is going to. And you just got to pay the price and work. Some people work in two jobs, three jobs. Now we got opportunities to work virtually and bring in other income. So when you look at your life and you're close to retirement and you want to say, okay, I need to slow down. What does that look like for me? I don't want to continue this pace. I need to do something that fosters ease, that fosters a sense of slowness and being and not just doing, doing, doing. And that's what Paris does to me. I spent an entire year traveling and doing podcasting. And during that year of travel, I spent about 2 months in Paris and in the France region, south of France. Like I did quite a bit, and I kind of talk about it. But one of the things that I felt when I was there is like everything was zen. It's kind of hard to process if you're living here in the United States, but the French have a way of slowing down. There's this phrase called joie de vivre, and this is the joy of life. This is being. This is enjoying time with friends, walking along the Seine River, going out and having a dinner or wine or cheese. Like the boulangerie, this is a place where you go and get your bread and you can get your cheese, and it's just everything is an ease. It's an experience. It's something that brings in this appreciation for life. And every day you get up, you're going somewhere and you're walking there. They're not in cars like we are here. We would say cover to cover here in the United States, especially in the DMV area. You leave your home in a covered garage and you go to work in a covered garage and you come back covered. So you did everything in your car. You drive through to the bank in your car. You drive through to get groceries now. You drive through to get your medication. And in France, Europe in general, you're not going to live your life sitting in your car. You're going to be walking. And they enjoy their walk. Their strolls are just effortless. One of the things I appreciated doing was watching the older women. I would say the ones that are 70, 80 years old, like they didn't move slow. They didn't look like they were tired and fatigued. They had their makeup, and they have a thing about looking natural in California. Well, I lived in California, that's where I got the natural, but that seemed to be also what I remember seeing when I was in Paris. Like they have really like a red lip, some pop of color on the lip, but the rest of the way that they show up is very natural. They put a lot into skincare. They put a lot into feeling sensual as women. They put a lot into their lingerie. And these are things like we think is optional for us here or something for a special occasion. They lean into that every day. So if you haven't had the opportunity to go to Paris, I hope I have inspired you enough to just look into it. I think every woman deserves to go to Paris. And if you have a lover, partner, husband, you go together, it's even better. It's just one of those magnificent places on earth for us during this menopause journey to show up and live life at a pace that I feel like we were designed to live. We're kind of living crazy here. So, another thing about the women that I have interviewed on the podcast is talking about health and wellness. What does it truly take at this stage to be the best version of yourself? And number one is we have to take care of our health. If you're going, and not taking care of yourself, then that will catch up with you over time and you'll end up with health problems. With our hormones shifting and we don't find a way to balance those out, it just shows up in other ways. Diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol problems. The list goes on and on and on. The weight, the obesity. And we have to take care of ourselves, ladies, at this stage of our lives. If we don't, it's a downward spiral. It just doesn't get better. So as you're approaching this space, start focusing on your health. If you've not been eating right, make it your intention to eat right because we need nutrients at this stage of our life. With our hormones going crazy, we have to bring in those nutrients and those vitamins to help level it out. One of the things I would tell you is start with sugar. If you have a sweet tooth, find a way to start documenting how much sugar you're bringing in and then work on trying to pull that out of your diet. One of the things that I focus on is detoxification. I love my wines. I have learned a lot about wines and I make the choice to drink the best wines possible. I do not subscribe to California wines. Those many years that I lived in California and had their wines, I didn't understand that the way wines are made will impact how you feel. If you're feeling lethargic, if you got a headache, if you're feeling like you're in this fog the next day from having wines, those are the chemicals in the wines. They put chemicals to bring the color in, they put chemicals on the grapes to grow them faster. These processes are not allowed in France, Italy, other parts of the world. They are very conscientious about how they have their wines. And when I travel and I've had these wines in Paris, they can sit and go through several glasses of wine and get up and just go like they've had, sparkling water. They just do not allow those toxins in their beverages. Their winemaking is very well crafted. I did a tour of the south of France in the Champagne region. This is where they have this curated process of making grapes, and these grapes are used for their champagnes and then other types of wine. But I'm a champagne girl. I love champagne. And understanding that process, it made a lot of sense to me why I enjoy their wines and their champagne so much, because it doesn't have the crap in it that we're drinking here in the United States. So if you're a woman on this menopause journey and you love wines, get rid of the California wines. Look at the back of the bottle, find out where these wines are coming from, and opt for something in your I'm a French girl. I will go with Italian and French. Those are my go-to, and they're never a problem for me. The other aspect of us taking care of ourselves is understanding the food that we eat. Here in the United States, again, back to these chemicals, the government allows these companies to put things in our food that really wreak havoc on our bodies on this menopause journey. And this is something that causes us more stress to our bodies and to our health while we're trying to be healthy. Like, you have to look at your packages. GMO seems to be everywhere. It's a really easy process. Whenever you're picking something up, look at your packages, find out what's in your package. If there's so many ingredients on the back of that package, skip it. Go to something that's really easily identifiable. And if you can't figure it out, don't purchase it. Now they have apps. You can scan the back of the product and see, what the healthy components are in the food and what's not so healthy. And some of these apps will either give you options for using other products. So I've kind of gotten to the place where I just eat simple foods now. A lot of packaged foods, I just kind of stay away from it because it was so hard to find something simple. I saw something about fast food off the radar. Like, all of these companies, I'm not going to name their names, but if you can drive through and pick it up and keep going really quick, and they're like these names that you've seen since childhood, stay away from it. They are not food. They are literally not food. There's been so many studies of what a burger is and what's in a burger and what's in the bun and what's in the fries. I saw something about a French fry. Like, when you think of a French fry, you think that's a potato. You just fry the potato, you put a little salt on it, and that's it. French fries at some of these places have dozens and dozens and dozens of chemicals. Why? It's not necessary. Why do we have all of these different things that we can't pronounce in some French fries? I don't even eat French fries. No. These little choices that you make will be game changers when you start making a little change here and a little change here. You will start to feel better. Nourishing your body is number one. Okay, so if you run into a situation where you're having difficulty figuring out what my body needs, that's where I come in. Quick commercial break. So I'm a certified health coach, and I've been doing this since 2017. And it's important to understand what foods that we need and how we navigate this time. And if you're having difficulty, I can help you with that. I've helped a lot of clients. One of my clients lost 30 pounds, and she did not even think it was possible. She's just like, I just want to feel better. I want to be able to walk from my car into my workplace and not be tired and stop halfway on that journey. So not only did she do that, she lost the weight and she understood how to eat. We worked together. There was a process. It didn't take long. I think we worked together a couple of months. I had something as short as a 5-day detox, which is one of the things that I swear by. We have to detox. Even with all of the best decisions that I'm doing, I find that sometimes I don't feel like I'm 100%. So detoxing is on my calendar. I detox every quarter. Sometimes it's a really short, simple detox. Sometimes it's a much more involved detoxing. And detoxing is one of those things you need to be working with someone to go through a detox, because if you do it the wrong way, you can have this really awful experience and you're like, no more detoxing for me. But working with somebody who understands that, that's how my business initially was rolled out. It was through detoxing, and I would work with this group of women, and in as little as 5 days, they had major shifts in the way they were feeling. They weren't waking up lethargic. They were able to get through an entire day without getting that 3 o'clock crash. We just have to understand what our bodies needs. And if you don't understand, come to a professional. We have women who are coaching in so many different spaces. Mine is for women on this menopause journey, and I have the receipts. I've helped a lot of ladies. And one of the things that you can think about when it comes to coaching is, I'm a big sports person. I had sons, they played sports, and when you're out on the football field or you're out on the basketball field, let's talk wherever you are, these are teams that are working collectively together. And they are going through plays, things that they practice, but sometimes the outcome is not what they want. But they have a coach that's sitting behind them, or sometimes in, boxes, and looking down on the plays and realizing, you know what, this needs to be corrected that I see, or this needs to be changed. That's what a coach does. We will get together and come up with a play, and then we're going to see, okay, how is this unfolding? Okay, I see you need to correct this, you need to correct that. You're too close to the problem, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see it. And you're going to spend a lot of time and a lot of money, probably, going through this process and still not getting the results that you want. Or, I'm going to lightly talk about this, taking a lot of medication that might be totally defeating the purpose. Be healthy, and then you don't need the medication. But that's my soapbox. Like, me and all these drugs we're taking, we're on this menopause journey. We need to get back to the basics. Back to the basics. So, a couple more women that I have interviewed on this journey that was very impactful is these women who are leaning into a new identity. Maybe you spent your entire life taking care of the kids, the family, the husband, church, social groups. Like you're just giving, and your cup is empty. And you get to the point where, you know what, if you don't take care of you, you're out. You will be in the hospital somewhere where somebody will take care of you because you didn't take care of you. Okay, one of the analogies that always comes up is like when you're in this plane, they always advise you to put the mask on yourself when it drops, and then you can help other people. But if you're depleting yourself to the point that you can't help anybody, that's not good. So I have talked to women who have stepped into a new life because they have put themselves first. They have put the mask on. And some of the things that they have had to change have been hard to do. It's really hard to bring about substantive change. I changed my life. I changed my life. For me, it wasn't hard. It was just like one of the things like, but I want the easy route. I want the easy route. But if you look over your life, you live 40, 50, 60 years, you know that, okay, I've got through all of these other hurdles, I can get through this too. So if you're in this space where you don't know where you need to be next, or you need to come up with a lifestyle plan for yourself because you're a different woman than you were 20 years ago, hey, I can help you with. That's one of the things about this space that I stand in. I have a lot of runway that I've been down that I can help you navigate where you want to go in front of you. The last thing that I would talk about is relationships. This is a big one. One of the things that has been coming up with clients that I've talked to, a lot of the research that I do, and also even in my own life, I know relationships start to change. I know they were talking about children who are separating from their parents, like, okay. My thing is, as a mother, my job was to birth you, give you roots and wings to teach you how to navigate your life. And when you get to this point, you need to take flight, take the wings. You need to build a nest somewhere. You need to decide whether you want a partner in the nest or whether you just want to keep flying around and doing your life. But I am always here to support you. I'm always here to help you financially, through talking through situations. That's one of the things about a lot of the work that I've done in my career side is working corporately as a project manager, as a person who takes strategy and come up with a plan of action to execute and get the outcome. I'm good with that. And another aspect of this is like I have the ability to tap into my intuition to a degree that I've never done before. I've always had this like sixth sense, and I think we all have it, but we may not be fostering it. We may not be in tuned and tapped in. Because of my travels around the world, I've learned so many different modalities to tap into my inner being. So I use all of those to support my family. And then also, there are people that are in your life, they're just flat out toxic. Baby, you can go. You can go. This stage of my life is about peace. And that might be hard for a lot of people. I got so many stories to tell. So I grew up in the church. My father was a minister. My mom was a homemaker. And so I spent a lot of time in that church environment. I used to do so many things in the church, usher, choir, retreats, like so much. One of the things that I was privileged to was to be around a lot of older religious men, you know, and they would talk about things of life and things that they had experienced. And I have so many lessons, but there's this one that stuck with me to this day. He was talking to me sort of kind of about life, and I think I was going through something with one of the kids, and he was saying, you are here as a parent to provide guidance. You do not own your children. And if you cannot take your hands off of them and just guide them, then you will be bringing in so much of this control, and you were not designed to control situations, especially as a mother. If you've got several kids and you're trying to control all of these, imagine that level of stress, okay? So he said, I have seen many mothers who were working so hard to control their children's life, and the kids were getting into trouble, getting into all types of scenarios, and the mother was trying to fix it for them, trying to fix it for them. And eventually, he said, the mother cannot sustain this, cannot. And he said, I have, and get ready for this is deep. He said, I have buried a many mother trying to save their kids. I'm just like, noted. I am not going to be that mother that is going to control my kids to that point. I'm just not. And I live my life in such a way that I have so much peace. I'm so proud and grateful for the way they turned out. They've had their bumps and bruises, but baby, you got to figure this out. You can call me and I can help you. You need some money, I can send it to you, but you got to figure this out. You got to figure it out. So I'm here to support you and help you as you're navigating this next phase of your life. So I'm going to end it here and just bring in what this second year of my podcast has been like and how it's impacted my year. Change has been weaved in there to the degrees that was beyond what I had expected. Relationship changes, yeah, I had to like step into this place where, you know what, I'll figure this out. I'll figure it out. I don't need you to do me. I will figure this out. And it's allowed me to have so much space to hear what I need to be moving into for this next phase of my life. I'm not just existing. I am living my best life, truly. I promise you. There's just so much ahead of me. Hopefully, over time, I'll be able to share that with you. But this past year, I took an entire year off. I wasn't waiting for somebody to give me permission to step into this life that I want. I made the decision. I want to do this for me. And I took an entire year off and I traveled and I still continue to do my podcast. I still was present for those things that were important. So you will do what you choose to do. I've taken care of my health. I've been supporting other women who need help. The life that we have for ourselves with technology, you can operate your business virtually. You can still travel the world and enjoy life. You can still eat and nourish yourself. You can still have these dreams of seeing places that you've never seen before, that you've only seen glimpses of in a magazine. You can do that. I had a friend, it's so funny. I had a friend to mention to me, let's go skydiving. Baby, I didn't get to this place in my life because I'm trying to jump out of a plane. That's the last thing on my bucket list when I checked everything off. We'll go skydiving. Right now, I got things to do, safe things to do. There's some adventure, but jumping out of a plane, I'll leave that to the military right now. So, ladies, I want to encourage you to continue to support me here on the Sexy Side of Menopause podcast. And I want to also reach out to you if you have a story related to your journey that you think would be inspiring to other women. Reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. I think sometimes we feel like our story is not important. Each of us have a story, and your story, if it impacted one person, you made a difference. So I am here to hopefully impact many, many, many women, and I want to do it globally. Um, there's just so much comes to mind when I'm actually having this conversation with you, but I just kind of wanted to hit the highlights to inspire you to be grateful for this menopause journey because some people don't make it. I have people in my family younger than me who did not make it to this stage of their life. And I'm here. And while I'm here with my voice and my platform, I want to be here to support you. So as I get ready to close out, I'm Beverly with Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching, and this is my podcast, The Sexy Side of Menopause. And if you're challenged with this journey and you need help, I'm a certified health coach and I can help you navigate this and break through the stigma of menopause because life can get better. So with that, ladies, I say au revoir. Until next time, take care of yourself and I'll see you on the next episode of The Sexy Side of Menopause. Bye. It's been so great to be with you.